In this video, I'll be reviewing two LED light bars from Heretic Studio. My 30-inch bumper-mounted LED light bar in amber and a 40-inch LED light bar on my roof in a clear lens. For those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, you may have heard me talk about my plans for the light bar before. This video has been several months in the making, in part because I had ordered this light on Black Friday, and it took a little over 2 months actually for this to come in. Heretic Studio is a small US manufacturing company in Utah, a little bit outside of Salt Lake City. It does take them a while, especially when they get larger orders like over the holidays. What's interesting is that not only did this bar take a couple months, but the first one I'd ordered a year previously, also on a Black Friday sale, and that similarly took about the same amount of time. Installation of the Heretic light bars are pretty easy. It's mostly a matter of physical mounting and then just a bit of wiring work. And my roof-mounted light bar is connected directly to the factory upfitter switches on the Bronco. But the bumper-mounted light bar draws more amps than the switch that I had it on. So instead I connected it via a 25 amp fuse relay from Specialty Performance Parts. And if you saw my OEM fog video, I did change the wiring so that the factory fog switch will now power both fogs. The aux1 switch was going to the fogs originally, and I had this crazy idea that I could tap into the aux1 switch in the engine bay. Turns out the aux1 switch does not pass through there, at least not in a way that you can easily get to. Apparently the only place to really get to that aux1 wire is actually at the fog. I was able to just pull back this thing, which if you saw my fog video, you know the clips that hold this into the bane of my existence. But I had left this unplugged when I put in the Y splitter to run both fogs off the same factory fog switch. So this guy here was available. So what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna run a wire from here up into the engine bay, and we'll plug it into this relay that I've got, and then it should be good to go. I have been happy with the Heretic Studio lights, happy enough that I bought a second one. Partly I really wanted to go ahead and make sure that these matched. And so, you know, right now, this rig has two Heretic lights. It's got the Nacho lights, it's got the rigid lights, I've got some KCs on the back. So it's a bit of a hodgepodge as far as the brands go. And I didn't want to have yet another brand introduced. And so, if Nacho had made a light bar, I might have gone with that. But honestly, I was happy with the first light bar. I'm happy with the second one. And what's kind of cool about this is that, so Heretic sells for the Bronco a specific kit, I guess you could say, of a 20-inch light bar. And it's meant to work on this bumper when you have the bull bar that goes with this factory modular bumper. I don't have the bull bar. I didn't really want it. It looks fine, just wasn't my cup of tea. And as I said in one of my other videos, I really didn't want to block the camera. And so for me, a low profile light that just mounts to the bumper was the key thing. I was looking at the dimensions of this light bar relative to the dimensions of the factory bolts that go into it. And I realized they're both about 27.5 inches. So I thought, hey, this 30-inch light bar should fit perfectly. So even though you go to Heretic Studio and you click on vehicles and you select Ford and Bronco, this doesn't show up there. This 30-inch light bar absolutely fits. For this specific mount, I might fab up my own bracket, and that is because I did have to flip it around, because if I left it in the original orientation, it would be too far back against the grill. So the grill sticks out just a little bit relative to where these holes are in the bumper. So I had to flip it around. It puts the bar a little bit forward. I don't mind the way it looks. I actually think it looks pretty cool. But at some point I might make my own bracket just to push this, a half-inch further back, be a little bit more recessed compared to where it is. Right now, the light is not the very most forward thing. That's actually the tow hooks, but it does stick out just a little bit in front of the bumper, and I wouldn't mind it being set back just a little bit further. But the brackets were otherwise just fine. They work great. They did come in silver. I went ahead and painted them black just along with the rest of my hardware plan. And overall, really happy with the construction of these. What's interesting about the Heretic light bars is the way that they cool the bars. They have these aluminum fins coming off of the top and bottom of the light, acting as a heat sink. And there's actually a little bit of an angle to them. So as it catches the air, it should blow right over all of these fins as a passive heat sink to keep the light from getting too hot. But I think it looks pretty good. Definitely feels well made. It's a different approach than some of the others. It does make this bar also a little bit thinner. So I do like how the amber color of this matches kind of the daytime running lights of the Bronco. I think that's pretty cool. It's a true amber. It also matches well with the running lights I've got on my my Nacho pillar lights. So I like the amber color. I like the construction of it. The reflectors are different for the spot compared to the kind of the fog with a wide angle. On this light bar and on the 40-inch as well, the inner elements are a spot. And then as you move towards the side, it's kind of an in-between. It's a little bit broader, a little bit shorter throw of light. And then when you get on the outside, that's where you've got more of that fog pattern that's wider. And so what's cool is when I looked at this with the drone, you could really see the kind of the different zones of light moving from the inside to the out. The way it looks from the drone footage is different than the way it looks when you're driving the vehicle. When you're driving the vehicle, it just seems like really effective light that covers what you needed to see. I like having this down low. Sometimes you're driving in snow or dust, and your high beams will give you too much backscatter. Your fogs might not be powerful enough to cut through. This kind of fills that role. And so if I could only have one light on the vehicle, aside from the headlights, it'd be this guy here. See, I think 30 inches is plenty of light. You get a lot more light out of the 30 than the 20. Obviously, it's simple math there, right? 50% more emitters, but it's not 50% more in dollars. The price point for a single light bar and the amount of light you get out of it is really hard to beat, right? If you were doing individual lights, you'd spend so much more money to have those individual lights and to mount them and to wire them. This thing, it's plenty of light. It's really low profile. I think it looks pretty good as far as being consistent with the look of the vehicle. The rig might not be subtle, but I do think that the light fits in pretty well with what's going on here. So overall, I like the lights. I like the way they're built. I like the way they look. Things that could be better. Okay, first of all, this is super nitpicking because this was not a kit specifically for the Bronco, but it would be nice if there was another option for the mounting brackets that came with it. Just a slightly different geometry or a little more adjustability would be nice. I do wish it had a backlight as well. I really like having the backlight on my Nachos. I think the backlight looks really cool. I like how it goes with the daytime running lights of the vehicle. If this had a backlight too, I think that would be really cool. I'm not sure as well about the wiring interface here. It's nice that there are just the two posts coming off the back for the positive and negative. It makes it really easy to use your own wiring harness. For the one in the roof rack, I went ahead and brought my own wires to it. And that was really nice to not have to mess around with an additional harness. Those post connections are exposed to the elements. Will it be an issue? Probably not a huge deal. Maybe, 10, 15 years down the road, it will have corroded, but 10 or 15 years down the road, I probably A, won't have this vehicle, and B, it'd probably be fine to go ahead and upgrade it to something else. So I do like some of the lights where you're able to go ahead and take a connector like a Deutsch Tech and plug it directly into the light. I think that's really cool. It'd be nice to have that sort of flexibility as well, so long as you could do it without adding to the depth of the light. And so that might be why this is designed the way it is, because, you know, it is really quite slim profile wise. I'm pretty sure this is less bulky than just about any of the other light bars. Certainly the really common ones that I was looking at, right? The Diodynamics bar is bigger than this. The Baja Designs bar is bigger than this. The KC Flex Era bar is going to be bigger than this. So I do think as far as the light you get in the package, it's pretty cool and plenty bright. Here's the regular headlights. Here's the headlights with the fogs after I tweaked them. Be sure to watch the fog video. So there's just the light bar. Here's the upper light bar. You can tell it's pointed quite a bit higher. It's definitely throwing a lot more light. It is almost twice the brightness, I think, by the stats compared to amber. And here's both light bars. And the Nacho plus the bar, I think, is a really good combination. See how the notches kind of just fill in the sides there a little bit. Really happy with this 30-inch bar and happy with the 40 as well. And the two of them together, like, that's all you need. All right, so again, these are just the two Heretic bars. And they are, I'd say it's a lot of light. Certainly plenty for driving on this trail. I love having all this light. It's so nice to be able to turn all these on. All right, back to the road and back home. So I'm driving back home and I had a just kind of a realization I wanted to chat with you about. You know, I would never turn an off-road light on while driving on the road, of course, because that might not be legal. But were I to do so, it is kind of nice to know that if you're worried about spotting animals on the side of the road, or if you need to cut through snow and dust, fog, etc., it's nice having a light that does that. And while there's nobody out here, I'll turn this on for just a second. This 30-inch bar really does light up the side of the road so much better than my fogs and my high beams. And because it's aimed just a little bit lower than the high beams, it should be really good at cutting through bad weather. So in those situations where I need it, it's nice to know that I've got it. And it's nice to have that bumper mounted bar that's just a little bit lower, because if I were to turn on the upper bar, it's just too much, right? And all the reflectors are super bright at you, and you know, everything, all that dust, etc. Like, the lower light bar is the way to go. So that's the Heretic Studio light bars. I like them enough that I bought two of them. For the size and money, I think you can't go wrong. They work great and I'd buy them again. Thanks for watching. And if you like this video, check out this one here that YouTube thinks you'll like. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.